All right, diving right in today, we're looking at sustainable technology solutions. This company that's been making waves, well, in sustainable tech. And from what we've gathered, they seem to have their hands in just about everything. I mean, we're talking reducing a building's carbon footprint. We're talking tackling groundwater pollution, even protecting those incredible coral reefs out there.
Yeah, it's a pretty remarkable scope of work. And when you look at their vision statement, it really kind of sets the stage. Envisioning a future where technological innovation seamlessly integrates with ecological responsibility. I mean, that right there, it suggests they really get it. That tech and our planet, they need to work together.
Yeah, it's not just some kitschy slogan. They've got the
Yeah.
team to back it up too.
Hmm.
Scientists, engineers, architects, business minds. They put together, what is it, like the A-team?
Team of sustainability.
Exactly. And they've been at this for over 2 decades. So they've got the experience, the real world know-how.
Yeah, that's a lot of experience under their belt. And what's interesting too is that they're based in the UAE. So that gives them, I think, a really unique global perspective. Working in a region where, sustainability is such a pressing issue.
Okay, so they've got the brains, the experience, and a global outlook. But let's get down to it. What do they actually do? Their services. That's where things get really interesting.
Well, they've got this kind of multi-layered approach. They start with what they call foundational sustainability, basically helping businesses and communities understand their environmental impact.
Right, like those sustainability reports. Those are pretty common now, but it seems they go beyond that. I see they do carbon footprint accounting, but what really caught my eye was this supply chain carbon accounting.
Yeah.
So they're not just looking at one company's emissions,
Right.
but the entire chain. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. They trace those emissions from the very start, from, raw material extraction and manufacturing, all the way to transportation and everything that comes after. It really shows that responsibility. It goes beyond just a single company.
Right, like those sustainability reports. Those are pretty common now, but it seems they go beyond that. I see they do carbon footprint accounting, but what really caught my eye was this supply chain carbon accounting.
Yeah.
So they're not just looking at one company's emissions,
Right.
but the entire chain, right?
That's the goal. It's a fascinating idea, right? It's not just minimizing water usage, but looking at how to actually replenish those water resources. So potentially having a net positive
To
impact on
landfill. I
those
mean, that's
local
a
water
huge
systems.
undertaking. How do they even begin to
Well,
tackle
it's
that?
a multi-pronged strategy for sure. So they focus on helping companies reduce waste at the source, which is
Yeah.
always the most effective approach, right?
Hmm.
But they also help implement recycling programs, comprehensive composting systems, and really push for this circular economy mindset.
Okay, for those of us who need a reminder, what does a circular economy actually look like in practice?
So think about it this way. We're used to this linear model, right? Take, make, dispose. A circular economy tries to close that loop, reusing and repurposing resources so that waste is minimized and we get more value out of those materials.
Makes sense. Closing the loop. So they're helping companies analyze their impact, aim for zero waste, but they're not just consultants, are they? They offer these eco-friendly products too.
That's right. They've got a variety of things on offer, like bioethanol, which is a renewable fuel source that's getting more popular. As a cleaner alternative to those fossil fuels, it really shows they're committed to providing those tangible solutions, not just giving advice.
Yeah, walking the walk. And
Mhm.
compostable bags, of course. Got somewhere to put all that compost, right? I also saw something called cocoa peat on their list. What is that
Cocoa
exactly?
peat, yeah, it's a sustainable alternative to peat moss, which, is often harvested in ways that aren't good for the environment. So it's a great example of how they're finding environmentally sound alternatives to those everyday products we use.
That's really cool. And speaking of tangible solutions, they've got a whole section on environmental protection
Yeah,
equipment.
this is where their work gets very concrete. They offer things like air scrubbers, which are pretty fascinating pieces of tech. They don't just filter the air, they actively remove pollutants. So they're ideal for workplaces wanting to create healthier environments.
Right, cleaner air for everyone. And then there are those drain jets that use high pressure water for cleaning, so less reliance on harsh
Exactly,
chemicals.
a win-win for efficiency in the environment.
Definitely. And they even offer those more familiar technologies, like wind turbines and hydrogen fuel
Yeah,
cells.
those are essential for transitioning to cleaner energy. But what I think really sets them apart are their specialized consultancies.
Mm.
This is where you see their expertise across so many fields, like, for instance, their ship engineering consultancy. It's all about making the shipping industry more sustainable, which is a huge challenge.
Yeah, the shipping industry is a major contributor to emissions globally, so that sounds like a crucial area to focus on. And then there's their environmental engineering consultancy,
Hmm.
which sounds Well, very
It
broad.
is broad, but it shows how deep their expertise really runs. They offer consulting services in areas like waste to energy, basically turning waste into usable energy. It's something that's always fascinated me, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, turning trash into power, it sounds almost like science
Right?
fiction.
But it's a great example of applying innovative thinking
Mm.
to a really critical challenge. And they don't stop there. They've also got specialties like light pollution assessment, where they help reduce light pollution and protect those dark night skies.
Oh, that's an issue I hadn't thought much about. But it makes sense. Light pollution impacts wildlife and even human health. And speaking of protecting things, they also do coastal bioremediation, which involves actively protecting and restoring those coral reefs.
Yeah, that's so important, especially with all the threats those reefs are facing around the world.
It's pretty amazing how they've managed to cover so many different areas of sustainability. They're not just offering those cookie cutter solutions.
Yeah.
They seem to tailor their approach to each specific challenge.
Yeah, it's very much a tailored approach. And
Yeah.
there's even more, they're also involved in things like the heat island effect. That's that phenomenon where urban areas get hotter than the surrounding rural areas.
Oh, I've definitely experienced that.
Right.
Walking down a city street on a scorching day.
Yeah.
What else do they do in that
Well, they
area?
also model groundwater pollution dispersion, which helps understand how pollutants move through the ground
Yeah.
and how to prevent contamination. It's all connected, you see.
Yeah, it really is remarkable how they connect all these different areas of
Yeah.
sustainability. It's like they're creating this, I don't know, like a web of
And it's
solutions.
not just about the science and tech either. I get this sense that they're really passionate about making a difference.
Oh, absolutely. Their materials really emphasize impactful results.
Yeah.
And it's clear they're not just focused on checking boxes or meeting regulations. They want to see real change in the world, tangible change.
Speaking of tangible change, I'm curious about their architectural design and city planning consultancy. How are they incorporating sustainability into those fields? Well, it's not just about designing buildings with a smaller carbon footprint, although that's definitely part of it. They're thinking about the entire ecosystem of a city, looking at waste reduction, energy efficiency, even incorporating things like green roofs and urban gardens.
So it's not just structures, it's designing sustainable communities. That's pretty cool. But let's go back to that zero waste to landfill goal for a second. That sounds incredibly ambitious. How do they actually make that happen, practically speaking?
Well, it starts with a really comprehensive waste management strategy. They work with clients to find ways to reduce waste at the source, which is always the most effective way to go. And then they help implement those recycling programs, composting systems to handle the waste that is generated.
And they're big on that circular economy idea we talked about, right? Where waste is seen as a resource.
Exactly. It's about shifting our thinking from that linear take, make, dispose model to a closed loop system where resources are constantly being reused and repurposed.
Sound like a total system overhaul, not just changing a few habits, but the whole way we think about waste.
It is a big challenge for sure, but sustainable technology solutions seems up for it. And remember, they're not just consultants, they're traders too. They offer a range of biodegradable and compostable products to support that transition to a circular economy.
Right. We talked about the bioethanol, compostable bags, and cocoa peat. But what about the composts themselves? What kind do they offer?
Well, they have poultry manure compost, which is a great natural fertilizer, a great way to close the loop on agricultural waste. And then there's vermicompost, which is made using earthworms. It's super rich in nutrients and beneficial microorganisms.
It's amazing how they're turning what we usually think of as waste into valuable resources for agriculture and other industries.
Really speaks to their ingenuity and commitment.
And speaking of tangible solutions, their environmental protection equipment trading arm is worth looking at. They've got some impressive technology there. We talked about the air scrubbers and drain jets earlier. Great examples of improving indoor air quality and reducing those harsh chemicals. But what are some other equipment solutions they provide?
Well, they have electrostatic precipitators. Those are used to remove particulate matter from industrial emissions, so it helps improve air quality in those settings. And industrial filter press machines. Those are essential for separating solids from liquids in waste management.
Sounds like they've got it covered when it comes to reducing pollution and managing waste.
They do, and they're not afraid to use cutting-edge tech. They offer hydrogen fuel cells, for example, which are a promising clean energy solution for a lot of applications.
And wind turbines, of course,
Yeah.
which are becoming more and more common for renewable energy.
Right. And they also offer more specialized equipment, like animal incinerators for the safe and responsible disposal of animal remains.
and baghouse filters, which are used to control air pollution in industrial settings. It's a diverse range of equipment and shows their commitment to those wide-ranging environmental
It
challenges.
does. Now let's talk about their ship engineering consultancy. We said earlier that shipping is a major contributor to global emissions. So this is a really crucial area. How is sustainable technology solutions helping to decarbonize the industry?
I'm all ears. It's a big one to tackle.
Well, they offer a range of services aimed at making ships more energy efficient and more environmentally friendly. For instance, they focus on ship energy efficiency, optimizing the design and operation to reduce fuel consumption and emissions.
So they're looking at the hardware and how the ships are operated. Makes sense. What else?
They also work on onboard environmental system optimization, which means implementing technologies to minimize the impact on the marine environment.
Like ballast water treatment systems and those advanced emission control systems?
Precisely. And they're experts in greenhouse gas management, helping ship owners and operators measure, report, and reduce those emissions. It's a comprehensive approach to making shipping more sustainable.
It sounds like they're really leading the charge towards a greener shipping industry. Now, their environmental engineering consultancy is another area where they shine. They offer a wide range of services from waste management to pollution control to ecosystem restoration.
Absolutely. They have a deep understanding of that interplay between human activity and the environment. We talked about their waste to energy expertise, turning a problem into a solution. What are some other services they offer in environmental engineering?
Well, I see they consult on developing sustainable waste management strategies and implementing those circular economy principles we discussed. They seem to be big proponents of that approach.
They are, and they can help communities and organizations develop and implement sustainability management systems, which can be really valuable for integrating sustainability into operations.
They also conduct environmental audits, which give a comprehensive assessment of an organization's environmental impact and compliance with
That's
regulations.
important for any organization wanting to be proactive about sustainability. And they offer life cycle assessments of products, which is becoming more and more important for consumers making eco-conscious choices.
It's interesting how they're bridging that gap between businesses and consumers, helping both sides make more informed decisions.
They are, and they can even help companies with eco-labeling so they can clearly show the sustainability of their products.
It's like creating a language of sustainability everyone can understand.
That's a great way to put it. And they're passionate about making it accessible, but they also have some really interesting niche expertise, like those light pollution assessments, to help minimize the impact of artificial light on the night sky.
Yeah, hadn't thought much about that before, but it's an important issue, especially for wildlife.
Exactly. And they also do groundwater pollution dispersion modeling. Helps predict how pollutants move and identify ways to mitigate contamination. Crucial for protecting our water resources.
And their work on coastal bioremediation and coral reef protection is fantastic. Those ecosystems are facing so many threats. It's encouraging to see a company dedicating their expertise to
They're
that.
using really innovative techniques to restore and protect those vital ecosystems. It's inspiring to see them applying cutting-edge science to those real-world challenges.
It seems like they're exploring every aspect of the planet, from the ocean depths to the mountains. They even offer services related to mineral exploration, oceanographic surveys, geophysical surveys, and marine geotechnical
They
studies.
are, and they're using that knowledge to help us understand and manage resources more sustainably. They're also involved in engineering geology and landslide mitigation, which is essential for protecting communities and infrastructure.
And they conduct marine ecological and environmental studies. So crucial for understanding the impacts of human activities on our oceans. It's like they're piecing together a picture of our planet's health and finding ways to ensure its well-being.
That's a beautiful way to put it. They're also involved in reservoir storage evaluation and sediment resource exploration, essential for managing water resources.
And they offer sustainable coastal protection strategies, which are becoming more and more important with rising sea levels and intense
You're
storms.
right, and they conduct hydrological studies and modeling, essential for understanding and managing water flow.
They even offer expertise in sustainable fisheries and aquaculture, crucial for the long-term viability of our seafood resources.
And they're involved in soil conditioning, which is essential for maintaining the health and productivity of our land.
It's incredible how their expertise spans so many areas, all connected by sustainability.
Well,
You're not just offering these services in isolation, they're weaving them together to create truly integrated solutions.
yeah, it's like creating a tapestry of sustainability, each thread representing a different aspect of our relationship with the planet.
We can't just address climate change in isolation. We have to think about waste management, pollution control, ecosystem health, resource management, and so much more.
It's that systems thinking approach, recognizing that everything is connected.
And sustainable technology solutions seems to be leading the way in that holistic
They
approach.
are, and they're doing it with a deep understanding of the science, a commitment to innovation, and a passion for making a real difference.
It's truly inspiring. It makes you wonder how they approach working with their clients. Are they very hands-on, or do they mostly provide guidance and let the clients take it from
That's a
there?
great question, and it highlights another key aspect of their approach. They emphasize a partnership approach when working with clients. They see themselves as collaborators, not just consultants. They believe the most effective solutions are developed in partnership with the people who will be implementing them.
So they're not just handing over a report and saying, good luck. They're working alongside their clients to create those customized
That's
solutions.
exactly it. They believe that collaborative approach is essential for long-term success. It's about empowering clients to become active participants in their own sustainability journeys.
That makes sense. It's one thing to have a consultant tell you what to do. It's another to have them work with you to figure out the best
And
approach.
that brings us back to one of their core values, innovation. They're not just applying existing solutions, they're constantly looking for new and better ways to address those challenges.
So they're really pushing the boundaries of what's possible in sustainable
Yeah,
tech.
it's really impressive. Sustainable technology solutions really seems committed to, walking the walk. But I'm also seeing they're not just focused on their own projects. It seems like they're really active in spreading awareness and knowledge about
Hmm.
sustainability in general.
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that really impresses me about them is that dedication to not just solving problems, but also educating and empowering others to do the same. They engage with communities, educational institutions, industry
So
stakeholders.
they're not just working in their own little bubble. They're trying to create that ripple effect, inspiring others to take action.
Exactly. It's like they're a sustainability catalyst,
Yeah.
igniting that spark of change in others. So their impact, it goes way beyond their own projects because they're helping shift the whole conversation around sustainability.
That's a powerful way to think about it. It's not just the solutions themselves, but the broader movement they're helping create. Right. And that brings us back to what we've been exploring in this deep dive. We've seen their vision, their expertise, the incredible range of services. But what does all this mean for you, the listener?
That's the question, right? We've learned so much about sustainable technology solutions, but how do we take this information and apply it to our own lives?
Well, it's important to remember that sustainability, it's not just about companies or governments taking action. It's about each of us making conscious choices.
So taking a step back and asking ourselves, what can I do differently?
Exactly. Maybe it's reducing your carbon footprint
Yeah.
by, exploring eco-friendly transportation options
Mhm.
or being more mindful of your energy use at home.
Or supporting businesses that align with your values, or even advocating for change in your community.
Yeah, even those small choices, like
Yeah.
opting for ethically sourced and environmentally friendly products, they can make a
It
difference.
can feel overwhelming at times, but every step counts.
Absolutely. It's that collective action. That's what will drive the shift toward a more sustainable future.
And sustainable technology solutions is playing a vital role in that movement. They're providing the expertise, the innovation, the inspiration.
And by sharing this deep dive with you, we hope we've given you the knowledge and the motivation to join that movement as well.
As we wrap up our look at sustainable technology solutions, we want to leave you with one final thought. What kind of world do you want to live in, and what role will you play in creating it?
Those choices we make today, they'll shape the world of tomorrow. It's up to each of us to decide what kind of legacy we want to leave.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope it's inspired you to think differently about the possibilities of a sustainable future